Julia and Olivia, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Let everybody know who you are and where we are.
Well, I'm Julia.
And I'm Olivia.
And right now we're sitting in the front of our Groomer, which is what we just opened as the boutique.
Nice. And what's your Groomer's business name?
Groomer's Corner.
Nice. And attached to that, you also have a feed store, right?
Yes. Yep. Corner Feed and Seed.
Corner Feed and Seed and Groomer's Corner.
Yes.
Awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing on a farm in Tiffin and what influenced your career path to decide to start not only one, but two businesses?
You go ahead, Liv.
So obviously we grew up on a farm. So early on we were always working, always outside, all the fun stuff. So I think growing up we were always pushed to just work really hard and things needed done. So you have to do it. And when we were younger, that was always like, man, this is annoying. Like, I should be having fun. I should be going to do things. But then you really appreciate that when you grow up because it just made us, well, I guess, true entrepreneurs because you're just always working. You're always doing things.
I remember our friends used to hook up and go ride bikes into town together, and we never had bikes. and we sure as heck weren't close enough to town to just ride to the freaking gas station.
Sure.
So we were always really mad. And then every Saturday, you were up by 8 o'clock. And if you weren't, it was like hell on earth. Mackenzie probably knows. Mom and Dad would come into your room like, why aren't you up? It's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. All of our friends sleep in.
Right.
But yeah. But you're definitely grateful for it.
Yeah.
After high school was when I was like, wow, that actually paid off.
Yeah.
But
after high school, did you guys go to college or was it?
Yeah, we kind of split up. So we were always in the same class as twins. And then I think in 5th grade, my mom forced the teacher to split us up. And she loved it. She thrived. I did not. I did not make friends very well, and she did. I remember the first day of us being in separate classes, she came home and told my mom she had like 30 friends, everyone in the class. And she was like, Julia, how many friends did you make? I was like, none. No one talked to me. But then after high school, we were in 90% of the classes together.
Okay.
I went to just community college, homebody, refused to leave, and she went to Ohio State. So.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So are you using your degree right now while running a business?
No. So actually, I went to Worcester ATI, and I started there. So I first started studying animal science, and then I was like, this probably isn't my thing. Like, I love animals, and I grew up with them, but I always just wanted to be a teacher. So I switched my major and then moved to Columbus. So I was at Ohio State for a while, and I studied ag education. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? Being a teacher kind of doesn't seem that great anymore. Like, the education system changed a lot from when I was in school.
Sure.
And my dad's a teacher, and he just talks horrible about it. So I'm like, you know what? I just don't really love school anymore. So I just moved home. So I think I probably was at Columbus for a month. And then I was like, this isn't for me. The city, not for me. So I moved home. And then.
Better to learn quick than bury yourself in student loan debt.
Yeah, for sure. So.
Awesome. So how did the idea of starting let me back up. Did you start the grooming business first or the feed store first?
So technically, when I was in high school, I did a program where I worked instead of going to most of my classes.
Sure.
So I worked here. Okay. And when this was, before we were here, it was still a groomer and a feed store. We made like a lot of changes after we came in. But I worked here in high school, and then I ended up getting a different job after I graduated. It was this really, really good job with the farm service agency. But after COVID hit, so many things changed with that. Sure. And it was like, I don't know, I felt like there was this push for me to do something different. And then at that point, I got a text. And this had been like a year out of working here. Okay. And it was the old owner. And he texted me and he was like, I'm looking to sell. Would you be interested? Because I always joked around that I would buy the business off of him, but I never thought it would happen. And then I think it was like 2 months into me being back here, trying to take over whatever. My mom had called her and was like, you need to move home. She cannot do this alone. And so she ended up moving home, and it worked out after that. But yeah, it was like right when I was in college is when we kind of took over here. Yeah.
So it just was an easy transition because obviously running a business is very demanding and time consuming. So makes sense. Mm-hmm. So did the idea pretty much started with that text from your old boss?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you just ran with it?
I ran with it. I was like, what the heck? I mean, COVID happened, and I don't know, the job that I was working for was a government job, which it was really, really good. They had great benefits. And I don't know if I would have stayed there, but all of the people I worked with were retiring. And I didn't know if I loved the job or if I loved my coworkers type thing. And there just was nothing else that I could think of. And I always like loved the idea of owning a business, but it was nothing that I ever had like looked into. I mean, like in high school, I joked about it, but then I was like, there's no way I could do it. So then when he texted me, I ended up talking to my parents and I was like, can we just go look at it? And he was like, my dad was like, absolutely not. You are not taking on that risk. I think I cried so much. He was like, okay, fine, you can take on the risk. No. And it paid off now. Sure. But he was always so scared of, and yeah, he was always so scared of risk. And he was like, I'd never open my own business or run my own business because I'm just terrified. And so I don't want that. I don't want you to fail. Sure. But then it's been, almost 3 years now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Did you have any thoughts in like the back of your head that this wasn't going to become like successful or that you're going to fail? Oh. And if you did, you were just going to be like, okay, I tried at least?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I think it's just because we are so young and it's like in high school, you never learned anything about like running your own business. Sure. They never taught anything like that. And college was definitely like a huge push, like go get a degree, go do this and get a nice job. And people looked down on me so much when I left my government job to run a business. I remember the girl that took my position, she had told me like, you are never going to be successful with running your own business. You are leaving this job. And I was like, yeah, I'm young. I have nothing to lose.
Right.
But then after starting, definitely the first, couple months, it was like every day you'd go home like, I don't know if I can do this. Like if I were to back down now, like no one's going to say anything. Yeah. And even like, I will be honest, sometimes I still have those days where you go home and you're like, I don't know, like if I were to close, would it be that bad?
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I think, entrepreneurs kind of have like their own journey in the process, right? But I think some of the struggles that you just mentioned are fairly common when it comes to owning a business or being an entrepreneur, being self-employed. I personally was a W-2 employee for 28 years before I was like, I'm going to bet on myself and go be self-employed and try to, my alma mater's motto was without risk, there is no gain. So I was like, well, I'm taking the biggest risk and it's not myself. So, and never going to look back, I don't think. But what were some of the challenges of opening or taking over the business that you faced at the beginning or even now?
You want to talk about that? Many. Yeah, there were a lot. I mean, it's one thing just starting a business. Okay, we bought the business and like we transitioned into it, I guess, but that's how it seems. But honestly, we established it so much more in depth than people understand. It's like, okay, it was a livestock feed store and it was a dog groomer.
Sure.
But I don't think we do anything the old owner really did. Mm-hmm. I mean, we kind of created it to be our own. Okay. And so it was really hard just, you have so many new people that you're trying to meet and trying to have a relationship with, please, all these things. But on top of that, it's like we're so young that nobody took us serious.
Oh, nobody.
Sure.
It was always the first like, you're the owner.
Well, for the first year, it was like, oh, so your mom and dad own this place? And it's like, no, we do. And they're like, oh, no. Like, we were just employees, basically.
Sure.
So that was the hardest thing because it's already hard to have people take you serious. But especially when you're 20. Well, we were, 20?
20 running the business,
yeah.
So that was probably the biggest struggle.
Sure.
Also, I mean, I'm fresh out of college, and I'm like, I don't know how to pay bills. I don't know how to do any of this stuff, but you had to learn really quick.
That's why we hired Davenport Bookkeeping.
Yeah. Take care of the back end for you guys. You don't have to worry about it.
Someone had to because we were like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And, managing two businesses, even though they're kind of like connected, how do you divide your time? How do you divide your responsibilities? Do each of you kind of have like, now that you've been open for a while, do you guys kind of have like a built routine that you do this, I do that sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, for the most part we do. I think it helps out with us, there being two of us. I think if I were, even some days if she has like a doctor's appointment and I'm here for like an hour by myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's got to get back here. But for the most part, I think we kind of got the routine down. We know everyone that comes in here. They're like friends of ours. So
sure.
We know every customer that's coming through the feed store. We know what they get every week. We know every dog that's coming in, and we have our schedule looked at before we even get in here. So that helps out a lot. But definitely there being two of us, I think we kind of each focus on our own. I'm not really good at employees. She's really good at that. I am not. I just don't communicate with them very well just because the people we hire are the same age as us. And so that's a difficulty. But she does really, really good with that. I like to pay the bills. That's just what I know how to do best.
Yeah.
And
I just love talking to customers. I can talk to someone for like an hour. So we have our strengths for sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So did you guys figure out like your strengths and weaknesses throughout like running the business, or was that something that you kind of like
both
developed?
Probably?
Yeah.
I mean, we're identical twins. We're literally by each other's side 24/7 growing up. So it's like we knew that already, which was a good thing coming into a business together, because you already know, like, I already know what Julia's good at. I mean, I grew up with her for 20 years.
Sure.
So that was probably
a little helpful.
Oh,
very.
For sure.
Yeah. And I think it's completely different, like being a twin rather than a sister. I don't know what like our older sister, Mackenzie, I think if I were to open a business with her, I think we'd kill each other, honestly. And Olivia and I, we just think so much alike that it's not really a question with her. Like, we just already know what each other is thinking. Even if someone else is talking to us, like, we are both thinking the same thing. It's like, yeah. So 100%. That makes it so easy just to be with each other all the time. Sure. I think if we're separated within an hour, I'm texting her like, hey, what are you doing?
No, literally. Every night.
Speaking of being twins and identical and thinking the same thing, like growing up, was that always like from birth pretty much just kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really know too many like identical twins that always jive together. I know identical twins that are like, I'm doing my thing, you're doing your thing because we are identical and I want to be different sort of thing. And it seems like you guys are very like connected and work well together and stuff.
I think in high school, that's when we were like, we need to try and make ourselves as different as possible. But we still had the same friends and we still had the same interests. We still did everything together, but like she dyed her hair blonde. I went black. Once you go black, you never go back. But so we like tried to difference ourselves, but then at the end of the day, we were still pretty much the same people.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. It's weird because I think we've always just been like best friends, not even sisters. It's like we have the same mind.
Yeah. And I think our older siblings used to say that if we were in art classes together, we would draw the same thing. And they split us up one day. Like the art teacher was like, they're doing the same exact thing. So she split us up. And Mackenzie would tell us that we would come home with the same exact art pictures. And the teacher was like, I don't know how they do it. They literally are across the room from each other.
That's pretty neat. I find that interesting.
Well, we definitely tried to like exclude ourselves from each other, like especially going to college.
Yeah.
That was the hardest.
But that was hard. Like I hated college, and I think most of it was because I wasn't with her.
Yeah.
Which sounds so cheesy, but so true.
We sound like we've been married for 20 years.
We kind of have. We really are like married. I don't know.
We fight too.
Oh yeah, we'll like married couple.
Yeah. Sure. Yesterday we were like at each other's throats. I was like, Olivia, I'm gonna walk away.
Well, she quit yesterday.
I quit yesterday, but yeah.
But you're back.
It's not that easy. Yeah, like once you're
quit.
50-50, like you can't just walk out.
Yeah.
I tried.
And here you are.
I know. I'm back today. Back and better than ever.
Yeah, that's true.
So is there any like key strategies as young entrepreneurs that you implemented into your businesses to like help become successful, or was it just like the grindstone, just relationship building?
I think it was just like the relationship building. It took us a while to get people to even like look at us seriously. But I think once we started like building those connections with them, like some of our customers that come through the feed store, like these 80-year-old men that are coming in to feed their cattle, and they're like some of my best friends. I'm like, hey, Steve, how are you today? Like, they're just, I don't know. I just think people really would always be like, you're the owner. And like, she'd look at Olivia and, I don't know. It was just really difficult, and definitely like the age we were at, I put my blinders on coming into it because I was like, people run businesses every day. Like, how hard can it be?
Yeah.
And then I hadn't even had my own house at this point. So I'm like calling my mom every day, like, what are taxes? Like, I don't know how to do this. And so Mackenzie's definitely helped a lot with that whole aspect, because we would have been like like a train derailing. Well, it kind of was like that. But
did she save it?
Yeah, she saved it before it derailed. She saved
before it derailed?
But yeah. Sure. But I don't know, being so young, it was so difficult because you still now, like, you're seeing your friends just graduating college and they're like going to all these parties and doing all this fun stuff. We have people that we went to school with that are like living in California now, like going to the beaches every day. And it's like, I could have had a different life, but honestly, like 3 years later, 2 years later, I don't know how long it's been, almost 3 years. I don't regret it. It's hard seeing all your friends, like people your age, they're like, well, we're going to go do this tonight. Do you want to come? And Liv and I are like, no, we're really, really busy. Like we have a lot to do.
Right.
But I don't know. I think once we got over that and we started coming here every day and we spend all day together, it's just been like, we're just hanging out every day and we get paid for it.
Not all the time.
No. Sometimes we fight, but we still get paid for it.
Yeah.
We don't always get paid.
No. That's true too. But
you know what? I had something in my head and then I just forgot it. So we'll just move on to the next question. Let's talk about, so where do you guys source all of your feed? And then let's also talk about how you collaborate with like other businesses with the products that are like behind us and in here as well.
Yeah. So the feed store, we don't really have a lot of products with the Groomer besides the boutique that we just opened.
Sure.
But a lot of them kind of tie in with the feed store.
Okay.
So right now we stock Kalmbach feeds. So that's an Upper Sandusky. And that's a big one. That was stocked from the old owner. So we kind of just picked it up we stock a lot more than they used to, but that's the big one. And then also it's called Performance Feed. It's in like Southern Ohio. I'm not even super sure. We've never like been there because they deliver.
Okay.
But we stock a lot of their feeds as well, which is also livestock. But then we also have like dog food, cat food. We have like bird seed. So we have Central Farm and Garden that's in Worcester.
Okay.
And then just kind of all your odd and end things like, if someone needs something, we're doing everything in our power to go find it. Like we will call any local store, we will call anywhere to try to find it. Because, I mean, that's what you kind of do.
Yeah, providing a service at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You want to keep your clients happy, keep them coming back.
We do. It's funny because we always get ourselves in weird situations. Like someone needs something, we don't even know what that is. Let's look it up, let's find where it is, and let's get it for them.
Yeah.
And it's fun, but sometimes it's like, man, I'm so busy. But you do it, and then you feel so good for doing it because you're like, hey, I just helped that person out. I didn't have to, but I did.
Sure. And talking about like helping the community, you guys like seem to have a pretty good passion of what you guys do and helping the community as well. So can you like speak a little bit about that? Like what drives that passion? Is it just you guys or like do you even know?
Honestly, I think it's because our dad, he's like huge in this community, especially Clyde, especially. He's the ag teacher at the high school, but everyone knows him. Like it's never fails if you were a kid and with him and you're going somewhere, even just to pick up like a pizza or something. He knows everyone there.
Oh, yeah.
30
and so, you're stuck.
Yeah.
I remember when I was little, he used to say like, see you later. And I'd look at Olivia and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're coming back. He just wants to come talk to him again.
Yeah.
But I think he's always been involved with the community and he's always done so many things with other people and helped out anyone. And people just know that. And I think that's kind of where we learned it from. So we want to be involved and we want to do things. And Clyde is a little bit smaller than like Tiffin would be or anything like that. So as far as like trying to like get so involved in Clyde, we've struggled with that a little bit more. We like joined up with the Groomer, the Sandusky County dog warden.
Okay.
We do like some promotions with them just to help them get dogs adopted.
Gotcha.
And then there's another rescue in the area that we joined up with. But other than that, like Clyde just kind of, they're just kind of here. They don't really do much. I don't want to say they're not like a joined community, but it's like completely different than Tiffin. I don't know if it's just because it's so much smaller.
Yeah.
But
they just kind of like stick to doing what they do.
Yeah, they just do what they do.
Yeah.
Which I think that's where we kind of play into like we want to have a community like Tiffin has. And I feel like we always go to Tiffin and we're like, oh my gosh, everyone's so close. They're having so much fun. Like, let's do that. So we opened this boutique just a couple weeks ago, not even a month. And we're like, well, what are we going to put in here? Like, we have a lot of things we could sell. We sell dog food, whatever. Sure. And then we're like, well, let's find small businesses that don't have an opportunity to have a retail spot. I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah.
And so we have 3 or 4 businesses that just they make their whatever they sell, like cups or keychains or whatever, and they sell them up here, and then we just get like a little percent. We really don't make much off of it because we're like, we just want to help these small businesses
just have somewhere to show their product.
Yeah.
So.
Do you know all the names of the businesses?
I can tell you most of them. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have Britt Dumont. She's out of Tiffin, actually.
Like
she has
BD
Customs. And then we have a B&C Custom. They're the ones that like make all our keychains, the shirts behind us. My gosh. Oh, and then we have Green Acre Crafts. She actually is a customer in our feed store, but she just started making her own like custom cups. So she makes all of our like Groomers Corner cups for us and stuff like that. But like all of these small little companies, they're like family owned. I mean, like the one girl does it with her husband, the other one does it with her sister.
Sure.
And so it's just really cool. And they've had like a huge turnout just bringing their stuff in here. I mean, we have people in and out all day long. So it's been really awesome. And I know they love it. And they're here like with the one B and C. They're here almost every day. Like just checking in to see how much they sold. And yeah, they're really sweet. And I love it. So.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Part of like REconnect and everything we talk about, like collaboration is like not competition, and that you can support other businesses while running a business. And I think the boutique is like the perfect example of that. Sure. So that's like super awesome. As aspiring young entrepreneurs, what advice would you give anybody that would be maybe younger than you, graduating high school, maybe in college, and not really like maybe have a similar experience? Like, well, I know I should go to college, but this isn't really for me. Do you have any advice of like, just try it while you're young, or is it like look into it before you just dive into it?
Definitely look into it.
I don't know. I feel like both ways. I wish I would have looked into it more, but I think if I did, it would scare me more. Sure. I don't think like I said, I had my blinders on, so I was like all in. I jumped in and I wasn't scared. I wasn't like thinking that I was going to fail. There was no thought in my mind that it would fail because I was like, plus I have like nothing to lose. So I was like just all in. I think if I would have sat down and was like, well, this is how much it would cost to do this, and this is what I'd have to do every day, I think I'd be more scared to do it.
But I also think people like elevate, own your own business, be an entrepreneur. And it's like, it sounds so fun, but honestly,
sometimes it is, but
sometimes. But I think my biggest piece of advice is like, if you want to do it, that's amazing. But remember, you have no days off. You have no vacation time. If you're struggling, you're not getting paid, and that's just that. And it's like you have to deal with so many different personalities, so many people, employees, all this. And it's like people should know that before they jump into it. I mean, we've had bad days. Everyone does.
Oh, yeah.
But I wouldn't change anything. We jumped into it, and I think I would probably never change that. But also, I think people need to be like, okay, it's real. Like, this is real life, and it's going to kick you in the what.
Yeah. And I think most people learn as they do. And so it's like, I feel like entrepreneurship is just one of those things where it's kind of like, if you want to do it, might as well just try to do it. Because like worst case, you do fail,
especially when you're younger.
You just go back to working a normal job, or like
I think if
find something else to do.
If I was like, I don't know, 10 years older, heck no, I wouldn't be doing that.
I'm having someone tell me what to do every day.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm done making decisions. Like, someone's telling me what to do. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. We didn't even talk about that. Like, you guys have to make decisions, whether it's like employees, with your clients, with the feed and stuff like that. So has there been any decisions that you made that kind of like bit you in your ass?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I like all the time. You make a decision and you're like, oh, wait.
Yeah, you're like, shoot,
why did I do that?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why we're so successful now. It's because we made those decisions and we learned.
Learned from them, for sure.
Which is so, like, everyone says that. You make a mistake, you learn from it. But it's so true.
Yeah.
Especially when your entire life is on the line because of your career.
Yeah.
Like, we could lose everything if we made a really wrong decision.
Sure. So you just have to be mindful of the decisions that you're making, for sure.
Yeah.
Any future aspirations? Obviously, you just opened this boutique, but I know, but I don't know if it's everybody else knows yet, or if you want to announce it.
We're really excited to bring a groomer to Tiffin.
Yeah.
It seems like it's kind of all working out, and I pray every night. I'm like, if this is the path that you want me to take, like, just let it happen.
Yep.
And it has. It's been great. We just know so many people in Tiffin, and I mean, we have a a lot in Clyde here. I mean,
Sure.
we went to high school here, and it's kind of like our whole adult life has been in Clyde. But as far as like growing up and knowing people, and I go home to Tiffin every night. It's like, it's where my roots are.
Sure.
And so we're really excited. We can't wait.
Yeah. And where's that location going to be at?
It's going to be on East Market Street.
Nice. Like
Yep.
right by the BMV,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
In
Same building.
Connected.
in the same building.
Yeah.
Connected to it.
Yep.
Nice. Are you guys going to do like just grooming, or are you going to have a boutique there as
We
well,
might
or?
have a couple products in there,
Yeah.
but I'm going to say like we're probably just going to stick with grooming.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many employees like total do you have then
Ooh.
here, and then are you guys going to be hiring somebody there, or
So-
are you guys going to be like splitting up?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What are you guys going to do? No,
Okay,
joking.
that's hard. Yeah, but no, that's true because we are gonna be kind of splitting up,
Yeah.
but we'll
We
be
will.
back and forth. Like,
Sure.
I'll be calling her every hour.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
What
we'll
are
be
you
on
up to?
FaceTime 24/7. Like, hey. But right now we employ one high schooler, Madeline, in the feed store.
Okay.
She'll be with us until we decide to sell, probably.
Oh, she's awesome. I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have three groomers here, and then we also groom. So there's like
Sure.
5 of us grooming
Okay.
here. So part of Tiffin was, okay, we are packed full here.
Sure.
Yeah,
we
we
have so many
ran out of
clients here. We
space.
ran out of space,
Yeah.
and it's like we're servicing so many people in Clyde that it's like, okay, we can help other people.
Yeah.
And
And they don't have
so-
to drive out here.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
for now, we're going to be moving one of our groomers to Tiffin.
Gotcha.
So there'll be one of us, and then a groomer,
Okay.
and then 2 groomers here, and then one of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be split up. I mean, because we have a lot going on here, and we can't both be at one place. We have to kind of split
Yeah.
our
It'd be
time.
nice if
but-
we could, right?
Yeah, I know.
Man, if I could change one thing about this world, it's I could be at 3 places at once.
Yeah.
I know.
That'd help
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys' time today and doing the podcast and welcoming us into your guys' business and giving us a little bit more insight on everything. Really appreciate everything. You guys grew my dog before the podcast. So if you guys heard a beagle howling in the background, that's my dog. He does not like to be lonely. So, but thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.